You're watching Television Productions.
You're watching Connect Tour.
I'm a great pusher.
You're a motivator.
Me finishing things, I don't know. Me pushing, yes. Push and run.
What is it about us
I push
as
and
human
run.
beings, though, that like we can save the world, but we can't save ourselves? It's like everybody needs somebody. Who's your pusher, Frankie?
Who's my pusher? That's a long story. He don't know that he was my pusher. My brother's best friend was that kid in town that did what he wanted to do. This is back in the 70s. He was the first person I knew that had a mixtape with just James Taylor on it, or Jimmy Buffett. He's the first one that had that old car. He wore the Hawaiian shirts and the straw hats and his flip-flops to Bennigan's, which was a really nice restaurant then. Ricky Summerlin, hi Ricky, is my hero. Because as a kid, growing up, I have 6 brothers. And of course the little brother never does anything right, or you don't want to be nothing like your brothers because you're individual. And he was the first one that would take me and grab me up, and that was when you had to be 18 to get in the bars. So I had a fake ID from Ricky. Thank you again, Ricky. And we would hit the town, and because our brother really was not the partier, and little brother at 17 was and hasn't stopped yet. And Ricky was the one. And he introduced me to local bands, scenes, warehouse art shows, things that other people did not know about. I never called it the underground. There's no underground, it's just like the ground, and then other people think they're above the ground with their pretentious...
You rock, Ricky.
You rock, Ricky. Thank you. You made Frankie.
That's awesome.
Do you know Beth McKee?
No, I don't.
You do now. She's an amazing... She was actually a high school friend that knew Ricky, actually. 30 years ago.
Wow.
And I found out that she was living in Orlando.
How weird is that?
Through my brother. And so he calls me one day, and being the brother, says, Frankie, do you know Beth McKee? And I said, from high school. And he says, yeah. He says, oh, all your artsy fartsy little thing going on. You know, you don't know Beth McKee, she lives in Orlando. So yes, he did that exactly on the phone. A record store in town. Should I name more names? Probably not.
Yeah.
Park Avenue CDs, the most incredible record store in town, besides Rock and Roll Heaven. I love you, Park Avenue and rock and roll. But they had a party there called the Swamp Sister Lala, which she still does to this day. And she's playing Beth McKee. Have not seen this girl for 30 years and didn't really know if she'd remember me or not. And after her set, she comes down and she goes, are you baby Frankie? She says, I was in the 10th grade then. I was pretty small then.
Wow.
And I said, yeah. And she said, 30 years later, we become best friends now. And she is, I'll boast her a little bit, and she does things every year. She just raised over $20,000 at the Second Harvest Food Bank for children.
Amazing.
To feed them through the summer.
I'm going to have to check her out. Beth McKee, you're an awesome human being.
She was in a band years ago. She opened for Jimmy Buffett with an all-female band. Now it's the Swamp Sisters Beth McKee. Called myself the first Swamp Mister. So anyway, but there's a group of people in town. She's always doing events, always helping the community. And it's all female musicians, acoustic musicians, which you would love.
That's awesome too.
You would love every one of them. Grimacing at the contortionist. Then the Japanese girls, all 4, twisted and pulled on each other and themselves around on top of each other and themselves, arched in positions that beg for mercy, smiling and giving glamorous bats of the eyes, presenting their best imitation of human pretzels, amazing the crowd, and then closing the act with a pyramid of a fancy game of vertical twist. I was not impressed. I was filled with empathy. Empathy, not it's easier to blame brother, sympathy. I wonder if the show they perform nightly is enough to satisfy the dreams they held when they were much younger, when they dreamed of the fame and the freedom of being a star in America. Musicians that just could not get another top 10 hit. Strippers that dance for less than hundreds, when their old reasons for dancing for their children and to finish school has long become null. Waiters that have used that line of being famous one day, collecting check after check weekly, and cashing that same check at the bar they work at, drowning in their own aspirations nightly. The lounge singer for the 100th time modulating New York, New York. Then taking that last sip of his amaretto sour, folding up the piano and reaching for a fistful of bills. Not Abe's, mostly George's. Do these people all feel the same when they are in the dark, safe from being humbled by egos and criticized by the constant lives of judgment and greed? When the moon lingers behind the clouds, for even his brightness intimidates the possibilities. So hard is the shell, so vast is the future, so endless the spinning, so fruitless the reward. Gone are the chances, asleep is the dream, whispers of hope, fires aflame. Torches from distant shores leave drumbeats of communication, echoing endlessly. Natives to native lands feel like tourists, and women fall from grace, only to rise up as angels on the other side. There are no lives ended on earth, men or other. Only flesh and blood remain. The leftovers are the ones burdened to pass this puzzling earth on to wondering innocent minds. We are the elders of the land. We are the protectors of this earth. We are the elders of this land, protectors of our home, elders that roam, keepers of dreams, standing on this shore all alone.